So basically what has happened is harmful opinions due to the Candid thing and the fallout from that, which seems to just continue to fall out. Much like the video game series, it seems to just keep on falling out. Harmful seems to no longer want to associate with the so-called skeptic community. But in my opinion, his whole situation, what he's been through, what he's had to put up with over the last couple of months, essentially, from a group of people who think that they lord over every one of us content creators who are below them in subs rank, or the loads of viewers who aren't content creators. Apparently, that's a community. And because they don't like him, he can no longer associate with them because of the other things that they've also done, which is being unethical. But in a way, that means that we don't actually have a community. And I know this is a debate that has been, basically been argued to death. But I think Harmful Opinions' situation brings up some kind of useful things that we really ought to talk about. Now, yes, I know in a healthy community, there is disagreement. There is a little bit of discord and some self-criticism, but this is a community made up of disparate bands of people who are from their own different communities entirely. And I'm not just talking about ethnicities, nationalities, I'm talking about completely different ideologies even. And these people are often at odds with each other when they're not having some common enemy. So we'll have libertarians, liberals, progressives even, conservatives, people in the centre, people who are like socialists or something, banding together and fighting SJWs and or the alt-right. How this is a community, I don't know, just because they share one enemy and kind of agree on one specific thing, but even then, why they agree on it could be different. How they've come to that conclusion could be different. But when they're not fighting SJWs, they tend to be fighting each other, well, whether that be about the ethical things about Candid, or just libertarians versus left-wingers, or just or anarcho-capitalists versus everybody else, because we all believe in states. The littlest things like that, to the whole right versus left thing. For example, you'll have people from the left generalising the right, and vice versa, and nobody can really make their minds up about any of these things because they're from disparate groups who would usually be at odds with each other, but because of common enemies, they've banded together. And let's not forget that it's bigger than just Harmful and the people that he's fallen out with, and the people I've fallen out with, and the people you have fallen out with. It's massive. There are people out there doing the same stuff as me, and the same stuff as you if you do content creating in this mould, and you'll never meet them. We'll never know they exist unless something happens. At least when the atheist community was around, they agreed with something more than just anti-religion. They agreed with many other things, secularism, stuff like, this should happen in a state in regards to religion, this should happen in regards to atheism, things like that. They could agree with stuff like that, but we can't agree with anything. We can't agree with what the world would be like after we've dealt with the social justice issue. We don't know what the world's going to be like if we have to deal with an alt-right alternative, if they are the ones who will take the power from the SJWs, which seems to be the pattern of the world. One extreme rises, another falls, and then the other one takes its place again. We don't even agree with that. We don't agree with stuff right now. Honestly, I feel like the community thing was actually created by the social justice warriors, because originally we weren't the skeptic community, we were the atheist community. We were the atheist community that was split up from the Atheism Plus people, although really that whole community was destroyed because of that. It no longer exists. Yes, the same people may or may not be on YouTube still doing content creating, but other than that, it's not a community anymore. It's gone, it's dead. And that was not the genesis of the so-called skeptic community. It was Gamergate. Gamergate was an actual community because the thing that united everybody was their opinions on how the press should be handled, how games should be handled, how creativity should be handled, free speech, all those things. Yes, free speech is the thing that has carried on from this, as well as social justice, but other than that, is this really a community like Gamergate was? Because Gamergate is dead as well. It died a long time ago by now in internet standards. That's where the whole so-called community came from, but it's the SJWs that grouped us all together and said, this is what we are. Before that, we were right-wing reactionaries or MRAs. Now we're alt-right or Nazis, or the skeptic community, or the atheist community. When the fact of the matter is, a lot of people in this so-called skeptic community are either agnostic, or they have some kind of religion, or they believe in some kind of spiritual high power. They're not really skeptical, but neither the people who aren't religious, because they'll have issues that they're not skeptical. So how can they truly be skeptical? I mean, I could be like that myself. I'm probably like that. None of us are truly skeptical. I guess that it's kind of like objectivity. You have to try and reach that point as best as you can, I guess. And when I think of skeptic, when I think of skeptic community, I do think the atheist community, people like Hitchens, people like Dawkins, they would what you would call a skeptic, right? At least in the sense that we've known over the past decade. Not really this. I could agree with people that it is a genre though. I can agree on that. It is a genre of YouTube, much like commentaries, although what we do is essentially commentary. So, I don't know. Maybe we're a subgenre of that. But in regards to as a community, no. Too much infighting, it's too volatile. Somehow this so-called community sticks around, despite the fights, the chaotic anarchy of it. I mean, how is it a community exactly? Can someone actually tell me how it is other than one shared enemy? Because that doesn't make a community, that doesn't make a nation, that doesn't make anything like that. That just makes it a loose alliance. And that's what it is. It's the same group of alliances that were formed from Gamergate. Sargon met most of the people he now knows and hangs out with through Gamergate. He wouldn't have met them any other way. This is not a community. This is nothing but a collection of alliances of people who normally wouldn't get along, or at least wouldn't talk to each other. This is now a community, apparently. But anyway, people, I'm going to start repeating myself. What do you think? Skeptic community. Does it exist? Does it not exist? This has been Chiming Man 93. Like and share the video, subscribe to my channel, donate to my Patreon. Until next time, I'll see you all later.